Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Dave Cicchini coming at you with a recap of our homecoming game against Lafayette. It was a rough day for the Bison. It started out, we thought, very well by returning the opening kick for a touchdown. Unbeknownst to us, there was a holding call, kind of a suspect holding call, but a call nonetheless that put us back at our own 10-yard line. And that kind of was the theme of the day. We outplayed the Leopards for most of the game. We outgained them. We beat them statistically in a lot of categories. Unfortunately, the ones that count, we did not. We turned the ball over 3 times to their 1. We were 2 out of 5 attempts successful scoring in the red zone. As the rain hit left over from the hurricane, again, we just didn't seem to handle the slickness of the football, and there was a number of drop passes. The one interception, unfortunately, went through the hands of a Bucknell receiver and deflected it right to a Lafayette defensive back who returned it back for an 80-yard touchdown. So despite 60 minutes of really hard effort by our football team and a lot of great play, we fell 24-14. Certainly disappointing, particularly again in a game that we felt we outplayed our opponent. It was a fierce and very physical 60 minutes of football. Very proud of how our players handled the adversity and continue to find ways to get better and become a more consistent football team. I'm joined by 2 of these players here who both played outstanding in the Lafayette game. To my left, Tyler Austin from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And to my right, Ruben Anderson, our punter from Kansas. I guess my first question has to go to you, Ruben. How did you find your way to Bucknell from Kansas?
Well, Bucknell was my only offer for football, actually. So I kind of thought it was my best opportunity and it seemed like a good fit. So,
okay,
yeah.
All right. Did you think your career following in the footsteps of Alex Peachin, one of the greatest punters, not just in Bucknell's history, but in really the history of FCS football, were you intimidated by that? How did that go? And did you have much contact with Peach as you got here?
So last year, coming in, I saw the accolades that he got, all the awards he received and all that, and I kind of felt like I had some big shoes to fill, and that kind of got me excited. Freshman year, I didn't really expect to play all that much, but I ended up playing, in our spring season. And then this past year, with my experience freshman year, and then I actually started texting Peach a little bit, and he was a big help and helping me develop and grow my leg strength and technique and all that. So, yeah.
Great. Obviously, you're having a great year this year punting. Not only in terms of your distance and turning balls over more consistently, but you're doing a great job this year of pinning our opponent, really not just inside the 20, which is kind of the big measuring stick, but you're doing it inside the 15 and 10. Tell me about the difference just between a normal punt and trying to pin somebody down in tight.
Yeah, so once you start to get towards the, your opponent's 45 or so, where the ball's being snapped, that's when you can, instead of punting the ball, with like a flat drop, trying to hit like a spiral that goes really far, you want to hit like an end over end punt so it spins back and it can bounce on the 1 even, and sometimes it'll bounce back and you can recover it, on the 5 or 2 or whatever. So,
yeah. Outstanding. Well, we've certainly done a good job of that. TA, going to you now. As a guy who had grown up and playing ball, you had some big shoes to fill. Your dad played at Penn State. What position did he play?
So he played corner. He's a bigger dude now, but back in the day he was corner, moving around out on the edge. So even though he did play corner, I learned a lot of things. Even though I came in as a linebacker, now I'm playing up on the line. Most of my game I got from him. He just knows the game in and out. So anytime I had a question growing up, I always went to him, and he always had an answer.
So my question to you is, did you think, just following your dad's footsteps, that defensive back was going to be in the cards? And if that's the case, at what point did you realize that you are not going to be a DB?
I think I realized pretty early, like growing up, like they have the weight classes in football, and I was always one of the bigger dudes, so I knew being a DB wasn't in my future. So I think I knew that pretty early, but I always knew I had my dad in my corner to, like I said, ask questions and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it's football. So if you if you know the game, you can answer any questions a young guy has coming up. So.
Right. Now, when we recruited you, we brought you in here as an inside linebacker, but just you kind of right away as a freshman made your mark really coming off the edge rather, as a blitzing outside linebacker / defensive end hybrid player. Talk to me about your development and how you have kind of changed your game to really turn into somebody who's really wrecking havoc upon opposing teams' offensive line.
So me coming in as a linebacker and transitioning to an edge rusher, I feel like being at a linebacker, getting like a year of experience at that, I not only know my job and the guys next to me on the line, but I know what's going on behind me. So if there's a blitz coming, I know where I'm going to have to be at. Even if I do forget my exact job, I sometimes know what the linebackers are doing, so that can help me. And, just coming on the edge and looking at guys like when I was a freshman, like Grayson Cherubino or even like Michael Bright, those kind of guys like took me under their wing and like taught me like the different stuff through a pass rush, how to play up on the line, and I feel like they just really helped me with my game and like taking it to the next level as a pass rusher, transitioning from an inside linebacker to a pass rusher.
Right. And as you see yourself now that you're the upperclassman, are you kind of paying it forward, so to speak, to some of the younger defensive ends that we have?
Yeah, so like I said, older guys like Grayson and Roger that were here before me, they taught me a lot of stuff of what it is to be an end. So I try to take what they taught me and teach it to the younger guys that we have coming in. We have some special guys. Once they really learn the defense and get into it, and be able to use the skills that they have, I feel like they're going to be able to make their mark when we leave.
That's great. Outstanding. This coming week, the Bison hit the road. We actually have a unique experience ahead of us. Our opponent is Holy Cross, but we are not going to be playing them in Fitton Field. We are actually going to be at the minor league ballpark up there. I believe it's called Polar Park. It should be a very unique experience. We've watched a year ago. Holy Cross played Colgate a couple of weeks before we played Colgate, so we got a chance to watch what some of that looks like. It should be a very interesting venue. Both teams are on one side of the field, so we'll be lined up from the 5-yard line to the 45 on one side, and on the identical side, but on the opposite end will be Holy Cross, which will be from the 5 to the 45, and then we'll have about a 10-yard neutral zone, actually with the screen kind of to provide some privacy for both sidelines. But it should be a very unique and very special experience. We're certainly looking forward to it. Holy Cross is the team to beat, certainly I believe ranked 10th in the country right now, undefeated, 5-0. And we're excited because they're the reigning champions, and if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And we're looking forward to this week's challenge, and hopefully that's exactly what we're going to do. So thank you very much for all of your support, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week. Go Bison.